Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third and final round of the Alma Corse Pre-season. Today we are at Oulton Park with our beloved Formula 3 Dallara car, and we have at the moment 7 drivers on track as practice is almost gone. We will take a look at who will win the $10 prize as the top scorer of this final round of the 2021 pre-season. At the moment we have Jadin Ladic on top of the timesheet, which is a usual sight in this pre-season. The Australian having dominated the previous 2 rounds, but today he might have a little bit of a quality challenge from the likes of Leon Penn, Gabriel Berger, Elias Raika, Dallara F3, Gerald Paul and Aaron Ingram, who are currently on the server with us. It might be a matter of quality over quantity today, as these 7 drivers are the ones that one way or another have put themselves in under good light during the previous 2 rounds. We know that, for example, Leon Penn has been on the podium, Gabriel Berger has had very good recovery drives, Elias Raika has shown some pace but also some controversy, having crashed into a few people lap 1 of the feature race the first round, as we see Leon Penn doing a little bit of a spinala and crashing it for good measure. Probably better to go back into the pits there. Then we have Dario Raffaetta, the Italian, who's been following us since the beginning. Really happy to see Dario racing with us today. None of his teammates, however, so that's a little bit sad, but I'm glad that Dario's with us. Then there's the turn of Gerald Paul. Gerald has been also another constant sight at Alma Corse during our pre-season and the community races, carrying the honor of the whole African continent on his shoulder. No pressure, Gerald. The whole continent is going to be watching you. And then last but not least, Aaron Ingram, whose fans have been the most loud on our chat. And if you have been here with us last Sunday, you might remember the incredible love poem from your boy Klondike, which we also posted on our social media channels on Instagram and so on. That was really sweet, and we'll take a look now if more of Aaron Ingram's fan will join us tonight. Also, greetings to your boy Klondike, commenting on Gerald Paul, saying he's a great driver. Yes, I mean, and then going on with a little bit of a Jeremy Clarkson reminder there of that he just needs to work on corner entry, mid-corner speed, corner exit, speed, overtaking, defending, tire saving and fuel saving. Well, sounds like Gerald has his work cut out for him, as qualifying starts. Elias Raika is the first one out of the pits with the car number 069. Let's see what the Finn can do. We know he's fast, but sometimes he has a little bit of a trouble keeping the tires on the track. Let's take a look also at the format for today's race. Hasn't changed since last time, but just a reminder for the new folks joining us. We will have a 10-minute qualifying session with maximum 10 laps, so they should be able to do the whole session on track. After that, we will have what's essentially a hybrid between the sprint qualifying that Formula 1 will try this year and the old feature race from Formula 2. So it technically is a heat race, but it actually awards points with a point system similar to the one of the feature race in Formula 2, as just mentioned. Sorry, sprint race, apologies, my bad. And the results for the grid of the feature race will actually be done based on the results of the sprint race. So to recap, qualifying sets the grid for the sprint race sets the grid for the feature race. Sprint race awards a point, but the big bucks come into the feature race later on. Sprint race will be around 10 laps or 15 minutes, whereas the feature race will be around 25 laps or 30 minutes, whatever comes first. Still no time on the board as the drivers try, and we see here Gabriel Berger losing it, and that's probably not a good thing for his tires. He decides to go back into the pits. Still plenty of laps for him, but he'll have to be a little bit more careful on his warm-up lap. On board with Gerald Paul, beautiful Red Bull camouflage livery, black and white, as we see another car off track there, which I think is Aaron Ingram. Gerald Paul is able at the moment to keep it steady and on track. Let's see, as Jaden Ladich is already setting purple sectors, and someone will have to stop Jaden tonight, or he's going to run away with another $10 of iRacing money, sponsored by Alma Corse tonight. Let's see if Gerald can actually set a competitive lap time. Here he comes. It's a 1:29.342 for Gerald Paul. Let's see Jaden Ladich across the line. It seems like he was actually starting a lap, so now it's actually now it's a good lap for the Williams liveried car of Jaden, whereas in the meantime Liam Penn has gone P1 with a 1:26.67. It's a beautiful track here at Oulton Park, very technical track, but the drivers seem to enjoy the challenge around here, and also for a change they actually said that they like the setup. This series has been running with fixed setups, the homonymous setups of the racetrack that are provided by iRacing by default for this Dallara F3 car. Let's see who else is out on track. Let's take a look at Dario Raffaetta, car number 07. That nice dark livery with a little bit of yellow and orange hint. Interesting choice of colors. As Jaden Ladich with purple sector across the lap. Let's see what he can muster. 1:26. Let's see when the telemetry updates. It doesn't look like he's actually probably had a little bit of an issue corner cutting or something like that, as his times haven't been recorded. So race direction, really not having a keen eye on drivers, not respecting track limits today. Aaron Ingram meanwhile with a 1:20.77 slots into P3, and it looks like we are actually going to have a quality race among these 7 drivers tonight. I mean, if you recall our previous races, I'm actually not too worried about the number of drivers, since half of the field seems to crash in turn 1 anyways. So, you know, better to have a close pack race among 7 drivers than 3-4 different races going on at the same time among lap cars, leaders and the likes in between. The chat is already thinking about a Jaden domination, and let's see across the line meanwhile Elias and there he goes, 1:26.09, but Leon Penn with a 1:26.01, so excellent challenge by Leon tonight. Let's see if he can snatch that P1 from Jaden. He's been very accustomed to that position for the past races. It's not going to be easy, but this is just qualifying. We'll have to see in race stream what can Leon, Elias and the others, what they can do to stop Jaden. There have been calls to the iRacing development team to actually deliver a patch this week to nerf Jaden's performance, but that doesn't seem that the iRacing developers have picked up on that. So I believe that the other drivers will have to come up with some other strategy, potentially including what your boy Klondike was suggesting. Gerald Paul should have to develop his racing skills on. Meanwhile, qualifying is almost done, only a couple of minutes to go, and it looks like only Gabriel Berger hasn't set a lap time. Let's go check with him and what he is doing at the moment. Yeah, setting personal best, hopefully warming up those tires. And also beautiful to see that he's sporting a Team Happy Life Factory livery, our friends and partners at the Team Happy Life Factory. Ooh, as he goes wide. Really our good friends over there. Good team. If you're looking for a sim racing team, definitely our recommendation would be to check those guys out. Team Happy Life Factory, good friends of ours, and you know, just a feel-good kind of team. Everyone is welcome. Check them out. As we go now with Leon Penn, currently sitting in P1. A little bit of purple sectors all over the place from Jadine and Elias. Elias at the moment is 4/10 behind, but it seems like he has some sort of pace. But we'll have to see if it can actually show when it matters, which is right now. And there it is. Elias probably listened to me and goes purple with 125.7. Let's actually take a lap on board with Leon Penn, which seems actually that he doesn't want to give us the pleasure. Let's see if anyone else is pushing at the moment. Let's go with Dario. Oh, there it is. Qualifying is over. And now we are looking at the start of the sprint race. Let's take a look at the grid then. Elias Rijka gets the 2 points for pole position with an excellent lap 1:25.72. Then in P2, Leon Penn, and P3, Jadin Ladic, P4, Dallara F3, P5, Gerald Paul, P6, Aaron Ingram, and P7, Gabriel Berger, without a lap time as far as I can remember. As the different drivers now have around a minute to find their place onto the grid for the start of the sprint race. Let's actually make sure that everything is in good shape. There we go. Leon Penn has found the field. Let's stay on board with him. At the moment, as everyone is checking that, you know, their setup is okay, even though it's a stock setup, but you still have to remove the selection on a few options when you start a race. If you don't want to refuel the car, for example, in case you have a lap 1 incident, there should be more than enough fuel in these cars to run the whole race distance, both for the sprint race and the feature race. It's an interesting situation tonight with Jadin Ladic not starting from P1. We'll have to see how he actually performs today. As the red lights go on, let us know in the chat what your prediction is. And we're green. not an excellent start from Raika, who's already lost 2 places. Leon Penn is actually in P1 at the moment. Hopefully no drama in the back. Everyone seems to have cleared the first couple of turns in a good way. Jaden Ladic already putting a lot of pressure on Leon Penn. Let's see if he can actually withstand that pressure, but it seems like no major accidents, and that's really what we wanted to see tonight. All 7 drivers still in the race, no drama, no trouble, just racing. Gap between Leon Penn and Jaden Ladic is 2/10 of a second. Let's see where the Australian will find a good opportunity to make a challenge for the lead as Aaron Ingram goes out of the track and loses a couple of seconds and rejoins. Heavy braking at the moment. Gerald Paul being overtaken by Gabriel Berger as he goes off the track. Dallara F3 also having some trouble. Gabriel Berger is now in P4. Elias Raika as well, trying to challenge Jaden Ladic, and Leon Penn says thank you and tries to breathe. Let's actually stay with the top 3, even though there's been a little bit of movement at the back. Excellent to see. Jaden Ladic and Elias Raika probably had a coming together, and Jaden Ladic goes to the pits. Let's take a look at what happened here. Let's take a look at replay. So this is Raika. Oh, and they crashed. Oh, and they crashed at Raika. Oh my god, this will probably go to a... Oh, and this is a very bad way of rejoining the track by Elias Raika. That's really a bad situation there, blocking the track. This is not what we want to see. Let's go back live with Leon Penn. Raika and Ingram are in the pits. Shame that we couldn't manage to finish 2 good laps without an incident. And Jaden Ladic will have to do a recovery drive today, as Leon Penn and Gabriel Berger now are P1 and P2 with Rafaeta in P3. But Rafaeta cannot sleep well, as he has Gerald Paul behind him. So let's take a look at these 2 at the moment and see how the gap between the 2 of them develops. Big losers from the first 2 laps, definitely Raika and Ladic at the moment, with Ingram still now getting out of the pits and having been already lapped. Looks like it might have been almost terminal damage for Ingram, unless the pit crew can pull something really beautiful. Leon Penn with the fastest lap and Gabriel Berger with the personal best. It doesn't look like Gabriel at the moment has the pace to challenge for the win, but remember that the finishing position for this race will actually be the starting grid for the feature race, where the big points will be awarded. So it's all still unclear who will win. Jaden Ladic going off the track. Let's take a look at what happened there. Did it happen all on his own? Yes, it did. Someone was there moving very slowly, probably Aaron Ingram. And now Jaden will have to regain 9 seconds to Gerald Paul in 7 laps, which is not impossible, but he will have to focus and get the best out of the car. So to recap, Leon Penn started from pole, started in second, managed to pass Elias Raika off the line, and now is in P1, unchallenged, uncontested. He just has to make sure that he doesn't make any mistake, as he puts in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:27.6. Gabriel Berger, personal best, 1:28.89. As we go now, we follow Gabriel. Something happened to Gerald Paul. Gerald Paul is in the pits. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It didn't seem to have had any trouble. as Jaden Ladic puts in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:27.0, but still has 9 seconds to gain on Dallara F3. A little bit of a nervous drive today from Jaden. I'll have to rewatch the accident that happened lap 1 with Elias Raika. That probably will go to the stewards sooner or later, as Gerald Paul now has regained the track and is now lapping regularly. I think the big question now is, will Dallara F3 come under pressure from Jaden Ladic for the podium position? Fastest lap of the race by Leon Penn, 1:26.69. This is all good information for the feature race that will happen later tonight. And it will be crucial for Jaden to pass Dario in this race, if he can, so that he can start right behind Leon Penn if nothing weird happens between now and the end of the race. We're actually at the midpoint of it, lap 5 out of 10. Personal best by Jaden, still with a little bit of off-roading. Looks like it's a little bit of a tactic by the Australian tonight. Car number 1, he has been the number 1 for 2 rounds in a row, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the same today, at least not in sort of dominant fashion. It still has a lot of possibilities for the feature race. Gap now with Dario F3 is just 5 seconds, and with 5 laps to go and an actual difference in pace that is about 2 seconds a lap, as I can see on the telemetry here. Definitely it's in the cards. The podium is still in the cards for Jaden, which is crazy when you think about it, as he was last at some point in time during the first 2 laps. Personal best by Gabriel Berger, 1:28.0. Let's take a look at Jared now running his race. He's in clean air, no problem for him. All good training for the feature race. Let's take a look also at Aaron Ingram, with Elias Raika having abandoned the race and still technically still in the pits, but I don't think he's going to come out of those. Probably not going to get awarded any point, as he will not have completed a significant amount of the race, which is a shame, because this is an excellent way of gaining good points today, as not a lot of people have attended tonight's race. Still, quality over quantity all the time, and this is definitely a quality drive by Leon Penn at the moment. 12 seconds the gap to Gabriel Berger, 26 to Dallara F3, who's actually gonna have a little bit of a Jaden issue in a few moments. Let's go on board with Jaden. As you can see on the timing screen, very big difference in pace, 1:25.8 and 1:28.8. So this is not going to be potentially difficult for Jaden, but still, a pass is a pass. And now around the outside it goes and into P3. Dario doing a good job there, making sure that he doesn't fight a battle that is likely going to end in disaster, as Jaden has tremendous pace and is showing it tonight, as always, even though he had to recover his position. Good job by Jadin, a good race by Dario, solid P4. The only lapped car at the moment seems to be Aaron Ingram in P6, running a quiet race behind Gabriel Berger at the moment on track, but of course P6 and Gabriel is P2. Let's go take a look at Gabriel and the beautiful Team Happy Life Factory livery. And a little bit of rainbow, which really fits well with Pride Month. Jadin Ladic with the fastest lap of the race, 1:25.6, as the fuel load goes down and the confidence goes up. Jadin is putting his bid for the eventual win at the feature race. It's going to be interesting, and love to hear from the chat what they think is going to happen in the feature race. Will we see more drama with Jadin starting behind and wanting to gain positions, or do you think that Leon Penn has it in the bag? And definitely we should not jinx him, but still, he seems to have serious pace, which is comparable with Jadin's. Can Gabriel Berger do anything about those two? Can he, with a solid race without mistakes, win the feature race? With only a lap and a half to go, Leon Penn managing the gap to Gabriel Berger, 15 seconds, and Jadin 28 seconds. Beautiful also livery by Leon Penn that we can now admire. A little bit of a Technicolor, gives me like a little bit of 80s vibe. Really love to see this livery on track for car number 17, Leon Penn. As Gerald Paul now goes with a personal best 1:28.8, which actually is a little bit faster paced than Dario Raffaetta, but you know, he is 18 seconds behind with less than 2 laps to go. But it's going to be interesting how this can develop then over the feature race, of course. A little bit of issues for Aaron Ingram today. He's lapping in 1:31. Last lap was 1:31 dead, best lap 1:30.7, so a little bit out of the pace. Last lap of the race, meanwhile, Leon Penn. Now has only a few turns to go before sealing his first victory at the Alma Corse Pre-season. Definitely not trying to jinx it. Aaron Ingram went off track and then regained. Let's still admire Leon Penn and his livery. Clean driving by Leon tonight. Hopefully this bodes well for the remainder of the evening. Aaron Ingram still having a little bit of a drifting. Oh, and cutting the chicane, which is not really sportsman-like conduct. And the checkered flag is actually now displayed for Leon Penn, who wins and is very happy about that. Well-deserved win, well-deserved celebration for Leon Penn as he takes the checkered flag and finishes in P1. The sprint race, and a good 15 points in the bag for Leon Penn. Gabriel Berger now across the line in P2, excellent podium, really happy, celebrating with the team and taking that checkered flag for car number 25. Really happy for Gabriel, he deserves that. And Jadin Ladic, P3, what an excellent drive. by Jaden, even though he had a little bit of an issue. And Aaron Ingram finishing the race in, let's say, consistent fashion with how he drove it into the barriers and off the track. Dallara F3, excellent P4, good show by the Italian, who's definitely going to be happy after yesterday's results by the national team. And Gerald Paul coming home in P5 finishes the race as Elias Raika has gone out of it. Now there's 5 minutes of warm-up, which will actually be good for the drivers to take a little bit of a break as we admire a few sights at the Oulton Park circuit, today's venue. Time to breathe after an exciting race at the front and a few mistakes that have really been costing Elias Raika's chances of securing a good results today. Hopefully he'll take the time now during the warm-up as we see him go on track. Hopefully he can be a little bit more familiar with the track and with the car and racing it in a clean way. Yeah, doing practice starts, because that's really what lost him the race. He did the tough job of putting it into pole position, but then really lost it at the beginning, letting both Jaden and Leon Penn overtake him right at the start. Also take the time now to talk about Alma Corse, as we have less than 5 minutes of warm-up as we look at Elias Raika and his practice starts. If you don't know us, our mission is to democratize motorsport, hopefully not end up in the barriers like Elias did here. And by that we mean we want to offer good opportunities to deserving racing drivers that hopefully do not show this kind of behavior on track that we're seeing now by Elias. And to do this, we want to make sure that we can have a racing team, a real racing team that does not rely on paid drivers, but only talented drivers. And we know that there's been a lot of debate in the past few years around motorsport and how expensive it is and how much only rich white men can actually make their sons enter the sport. And we want to demonstrate that this does not necessarily have to be the only way of running a team. It's a tough challenge. It looks like an insurmountable challenge, but step by step we want to get there. And the first step for us is to establish a convincing online presence by hosting these types of events, hosting tournaments and championships, and making sure that you, the audience, can recognize what we do, what we stand for, and ideally stick around with us for the long haul. And this will help us achieve our goals of offering a real-world drive, an opportunity for a real-world drive in an actual motorsport series to the winner of our official season. So we said at the beginning of the evening that this is our pre-season. It's a little bit of a beta test for us to understand how everything works, and it give also some drivers the chance of earning some prizes and getting comfortable with some of the tracks that we'll use into the actual season. So this is the pre-season, as just mentioned, and we have the official season, which will be a paid esports competition. Why paid? Because if we don't have paid drivers, we need to raise money some other way, and we believe that by pooling together some money from the community, we can then raise additional money through corporate partners and sponsors who believe in our mission, who believe in democratizing motorsport, who believe in diversity and increasing diversity into the sport, and will help us raise the necessary money to go racing. Alma Corse is a not-for-profit team. We are all working evenings and weekends to make this happen, so I hope that if you like what we do, check the our website almacorse.it, and it really helps if you follow us on the different platforms, starting with Twitch, as we try to grow and make a name for ourselves in motorsport. All right, That's enough of me talking about Alma Corse. We are now here to look at our drivers warming up for the upcoming feature race. Liam Penn, who's just won the sprint race, now taking a little bit of a stroll, making sure that after probably a toilet break or whatever it is that he did for the past 4 minutes, not gonna investigate too much, getting to grips with the car, as he will likely have to challenge his P1 from an angry Jaden Ladich, who got robbed of a podium position. Actually, no, he did get a podium position, but probably got robbed of a fight for the win by a lap 2 incident with Elias Raika. Enough talking, let's actually go racing, as the drivers now try to find their place onto the grid to start the feature race. Here they are, lining up already. And there we go, with the grid forming up. Liam Penn starting in pole position, then Gabriel Berger, Jaden Ladich, Dallara F3, Jared Paul, Aaron Ingram and Elias Raika. Everyone is ready onto the grid, red lights are coming up. And away we go. Good start by Jaden Ladich, who already seems to challenge Gabriel Berger for P2, and it actually goes into the lead. Oh, and there's contact, oh no, there's contact, and Elias Raika is now in P1. What a disaster for the leaders, with Penn, Berger and Ladich actually, oh no, losing it in P1, and now the two teammates, Raika and Ingram, will have to fight for the lead. That is actually a disaster. Oh no, we'll have to take a look at what's happened there. This has been really a disaster, as also Aaron Ingram goes off the track and really gifting Raika the leadership position. Jaden Ladich is in the pits at the moment, whereas Liam Penn at least seems to still be in the race with Gabriel Berger in P6. Let's actually try and take a look at what happened. Let's actually try and take a look at what happened. So this is the start. Jaden Ladich is into P1. I think he got punted by Gabriel there, and a little bit of drama. Oh no, that's a shame. That's a shame. Let's actually try and retake a look. Yeah. That's exactly what happened, and shame that it had to end like this, but this is racing. Lap 1 incident. I'm sure that Gabriel will learn from that going forward, but we'll see. Yeah, that's just a shame what happened. And Gabriel and Jaden into the pits with a crashed car. Not this evening, tonight, and probably is not gonna get into the race. Might as well be very much pissed. Yeah. Let's go back to racing though, with a unusual podium at the moment, with Raika, Paul and Rafaeta. Aaron Ingram is actually in P4, challenged by Liam Penn. Oh no, and Liam Penn loses it. Liam Penn has crashed. Let's actually take a look at what happened. He tries to go around the outside and just collides. What a shame for Liam Penn. Wretched luck for the British driver. Still a long way to go though. I'm sure that some of the drivers are very nervous tonight with all that's happened. But this doesn't mean that Liam Penn cannot challenge Aaron Ingram again. There's still a long race, lap 3 out of 25. A long way to go. as Raika sets the fastest lap of the race with the 129.3. A little bit far from what we've seen from the likes of Penn and Ladic, but he's in P1 at the moment and he can dictate the pace. I probably got another little bit more drama. Berger, meanwhile, with the 128.5 fastest lap of the race, he can probably, Penn and Berger still have enough time to challenge the guys at the front. But it's a very unusual podium with Raika, Paul and Raffaetta, but one that I'm happy to see so that everybody gets a fair chance at securing some excellent positions. Let's take a look now at Raffaetta challenging Paul for P2. It's key that these two guys do not fight too much, otherwise they're just gonna let Ingram, Penn and Berger get closer and closer and closer. So they'll have to understand that they need to work together and not lose time squabbling. It's easier said than done, of course, from the outside, but when you're in the cockpit, it's not that easy. And speaking of that, let's go in the cockpit with Dallara F3 as he tries and follows. Oh, a little bit of a mistake for Gerald Paul. Let's see if he can actually take advantage of that around the outside. Does it make it stick? Gerald Paul actually tries to hang on to P2. So they're side by side. This can go horribly wrong, but this is excellent racecraft by both of them, and Gerald Paul retains P2. Really, really good battling on track. This is the kind of fight that we want to see. A small mistake by Gerald Paul has opened the door, but Dario was not able to make the best out of that. And Aaron Ingram now gets interested in this fight. They're all within 1 second more or less of each other, these three drivers. Aaron Ingram having lost a little bit of time now. Yeah, Jaden Ladic is officially out of the race. He's probably going to have a few words with some of the drivers involved in different crashes. I'm sure it was an honest mistakes on Gabriel's side. These things do happen, and hopefully we will all learn from that experience. Aaron Ingram meanwhile going off track and losing precious time, while Dallara F3 tries to get closer and closer to Gerald Paul, but we know that Paul is an excellent defender, and as I say that, he leaves the door open for Dario. A little bit of a commentator's curse. Let's see if Dario can stick it around the outside. No, it looks like he can't, but excellent driving from the two of them. This is going to be a nail-biter for the rest of the race. We can appreciate the different lines also, into the hairpin and out of that. Let's stay now with Gerald Paul and let's take a look. As he now tries to negotiate the small chicane here, having Dario basically stuck to his gearbox. Let's take a look at the gearbox. Making himself known into the mirrors. Let's see what happens now. He's close, he's close, he's close. Around the inside, but he cannot challenge yet. Personal best for Aaron Ingram, meanwhile, 129.1. That was the fastest lap of the race by Gabriel Berger with a 127.0. Really happy to see this close driving, and now Dario will try around the outside defensive line by Gerald Paul. And let's see if Aaron Ingram can actually get interested in this fight. Big points here available for the drivers, as Mladic is out. He's probably still going to win the championship, as he actually had a lot of margin over the other drivers, especially with the podium in the sprint race. But let's see, it's still open battle for second place in the standings. 6/10 now the gap between Jared Paul and Dallara F3, with Jared who probably wants to breathe a little bit, and Dario trying to put the pressure. We know that this is the point of the track where Dario seems to be faster, getting the slipstream, but he'll have to try something different. Personal best by Jared Paul 1.28.5, and a little bit slower lap by Dario 1.28.9. So has Jared actually found the pace to pull away from Dario? Meanwhile, this is also another battle brewing between Leon Penn and Gabriel Berger. They finished P1 and P2 the previous race, and now they're P5 and P6. We'll have to take a look and see. We'll stay interested in that battle a little bit more as we switch between the fight for P5 and the fight for P2. Meanwhile, Elias Raika at the front, running his own race. It really seems to change Elias when he's in the lead and when he's in the pack. And he looks like a very fast and consistent driver when he's in the lead, as he is right now, pulling a gap of 9 seconds to P2. But he seems a much more nervous type of driver and prone to mistakes when he's fighting with others. A little bit of a hot lapper syndrome, maybe. Speaking of hot laps, he goes into the fastest lap of the race with the 127.0, and now let's see if Dario can actually challenge in on the inside. Seems to have had a good run, trying to outbrake. They go close, and let's see if actually now Aaron can say thank you very much and take both positions. And it looks like Dario has lost to Aaron Ingram for P3. It's a shame. But that's what happens when you try and go for a gap. And kudos to Dario for trying that. Meanwhile, Jared Paul trying to defend P2. Now let's see if Dario can now challenge Aaron Ingram for P3. Let's stay with Aaron now, as he seems to have had a little bit of out of shape in the chicane. This is where Ian Berger touched. Not that, sorry, Ian Penn touched. Now that didn't happen. Happy to see. As Dario really is in his gearbox, as we can see here. Really, really close between the two of them. Exciting fight for the podium tonight. Car number 07 getting closer and closer. Let's see if the start-finish straight. It seems a little bit far this time around. And Aaron Ingram survives another day. Let's actually take a look at Leon Penn and Gabriel Berger. Gabriel Berger with it 126.999, which is not a quote from Inglourious Basterds. It's actually the time that Gabriel Berger has put in for the fastest lap of the race. And they have gained on the trio who's fighting up ahead. This is going to be an epic fight for the podium position as soon as Leon Penn and Gabriel Berger reach them. And here there might be that Gabriel is thinking, you know, I'm not fighting with Leon. We actually want to go closer to the guys in front and try to challenge for a podium. That would be a very smart thing to do. Dallara F3 having a little bit of a trouble going off the track, and Penn and Berger have now joined the party. It's official. I'm not sure who brought food and who brought something to drink, but the party is on for the podium places. and now gloves are off. Lap 9 out of 25. This is going to be a massive fight. Hopefully that does not end in disaster with people crashing out of the race. And this is exactly what I meant, quality over quantity. These drivers are all quality drivers. It's a shame that we've lost Jaden Ladic, but we can understand his frustration at a race that just went wrong tonight. Let's see, Dario is close but not close enough. Gabriel Berger, almost everyone with personal best, and Gabriel Berger with the fastest lap into the slipstream of Leon Penn. Let's see now if he's gonna go for a move. Doesn't look like. Dario Raffaetta trying to make himself known to Aaron Ingram up ahead, and Aaron Ingram doing the same to Gerald Paul. Now Ingram seems closer to Paul than Raffaetta is to Ingram. Let's see that hairpin. It's a beautiful track here at Oulton Park, and it goes to show the quality of the racing that we're witnessing tonight. Oh no! Oh no! Drama! No! Ingram lost it. We'll have to rewatch the replay. And probably contact with Raffaetta as Leon Penn now up the inside and Gabriel Berger on the outside. They try to negotiate the Italian. Penn back into the podium place. Let's see now if Berger can do anything about that. He does have the pace advantage. Let's see if he can capitalize on that. What a shame for Aaron Ingram, and hopefully nobody in the chat has become sad because of Aaron's demise from this. It's now a quartet essentially. Let's see if Gabriel Berger now in the slipstream of Dallara F3 going into the inside, but Raffaetta making sure that he can brake and take the longer way around, but is also the faster way around, and he stays in front. Let's actually take a look at what happened in between. Let's take actually a look here what happened between Ingram and Raffaetta. Trying to find the right replay here. Apologies, please bear with me. Oh, he's just lost it. He's lost it on his own. He's lost it on his own. He's gonna be kicking himself into the teeth. And he goes into the pits, and now let's see if Berger can challenge Raffaetta for the lead. Ooh, that was close. That was close, but Raffaetta survives the challenge. As the two in front have taken a little bit off, and Berger has to pass Raffaetta as soon as possible if he wants to challenge for the podium. And he seems to have gotten the call, but he's still not able to get past. Muscular defense by Raffaetta. Let's see how long he can keep that, and hopefully Berger does not lose patience and, causes an accident. Still behind, and meanwhile Leon Penn is also challenging Gerald Paul for P2. This is going to be two different fights for the podium positions, with Berger now having lost a little bit of ground. Let's see if Penn can do something about Gerald Paul, who we know also does not defend lightly his position. And we've seen it before with Raffaetta, we'll see now with Leon Penn. Let's take a look at the different lines that they take. Getting closer and closer and closer into the slipstream. But does not seem that he can outbrake at the moment, but trying a different line. And Raffaetta getting interested in this. It seems very close now, much closer than before. And the two pairs have now become another quartet. Start finish straight, slipstream. Oh, almost crashing into each other there. Sorry, that was not a start finish straight, that was my bad. Let's see Raffaetta now actually trying a move on Leon Penn. Being vulnerable to Gabriel Berger. Wow, this is going to be exciting. Everyone is now behind each one another in the same position as before, but there was a time where it could have gone wrong or it could have gone right, but it actually didn't go anywhere for this lap. Lap 13 out of 25. There's another 12 laps of this. And also hi to Formulari. Oh, there's some Leon Penn. Leon Penn has probably gone past, but no. Gerald Paul defending around the... Oh no, that's actually still not changing position, but with a little bit of drama as Leon Penn almost went past Gerald Paul. Let's see if we can do something about that now. Paul going defensive around the defending the inside. Leon Penn trying the switching lines. Almost contact. Ooh, and now something went wrong for Paul. He is vulnerable. Short run to a right-hander there. I am really afraid for a crash here, which is the one thing I do not want to happen. But everyone seems fairly polite at the moment, besides some very strong defense by Paul and Rafaeta. Let's see now if Penn can pick the slipstream. He books the inside line. Let's see if he can outbrake Gerald Paul, and it looks like they do a little bit of accompany him to the outside. Let's see if Rafaeta now can do anything about that. No, Leon Penn has got it. Leon Penn in P2, Gerald Paul demoted to P3, and let's see if now Dario Rafaeta can do anything about that, and let's see if Penn can unleash some serious pace to catch Raika, who's 20 seconds ahead. 9 laps to go. That seems unlikely, but if Raika doesn't make a mistake. Like Raika in P1, Penn in P2, having recovered from a bad first couple of laps, and then Paul in P3 defending for all that's dear in his life, the podium place, and now Berger getting interested in P4 with Rafaeta there, very defensive and putting a little bit of grass on his tire and defending for all that's dear in his life. Berger switching the lines, booking the inside line. Maybe this will do. Let's see. Excellent job. Good job by Gabriel Berger. He takes P4 from Dario Rafaeta, who's had an excellent race. But let's see if Rafaeta can try it. No, he can't do it. He's lost it. And now Berger can unleash a little bit of pace to catch Gerald Paul and hopefully challenge for the podium. I was really rooting for Dario to get a podium tonight. Let's see if he can still stay in the slipstream of Gabriel and maybe take advantage of some crashes along the road. Meanwhile, a lonely Ingram in P6, but kudos to him who still keep going. His teammate Raika, we haven't watched him for a while because he's in the lead and alone and lapping, whereas we had an exciting fight for the last podium positions. Gabriel Berger now in the middle of a Paul Rafaeta sandwich. And trying to get to the lower step of the podium. He's gaining and in the slipstream of Gerald Paul. And he goes past. Excellent move by Gabriel Berger. He goes on to P3 and gains the podium place, but he locks and is now vulnerable to Gerald Paul, who's going to steam past him, or maybe not. Hopefully don't go 3 wide here. Oh my god, this is dangerous driving, and Paul is now in front again. Paul in P3, and Berger will have to do it again, and oh no, and there's contact, and Paul lost it. There's contact, and Gabriel Berger probably knows that it's a little bit on him and probably has damage, but he now continues. Oh no, that's disaster for Gerald Paul, and really sorry that has happened. He was driving so well in the race and the podium was in the cards, but that just did not happen. And Gabriel Berger also probably damage on his car. Paul is out into the pits. Let's actually see how did he go on track. Something happened to him now. Paul just lost it. Yeah, just lost it. Oh no, what a shame, but what this does is it promotes Raffaetta in P3. And I was just mentioning that I really wanted him to get a podium, but not necessarily by having everyone else crash into each other, but that's what happened. Liam Penn meanwhile approaching a lapped car, which is Aaron Ingram. Aaron Ingram leaving the room. Dallara F3 meanwhile says thank you and now has a gap of 4.5 seconds to Gabriel Berger, who's rejoined and probably had a little bit of a talk with himself in the cockpit. The big winner from all of this mess is Liam Penn at the moment, who with a P1 and a P2 now probably will secure the $10 racing prize. And let's see now what can happen for the last 7-8 laps that remain in this race. The gaps are still not super comfortable because Berger, we know, has a good pace advantage over Dario, and with a few laps to go still. I believe Gerald Paul is in the pits, but I'm not sure he will rejoin the race. The damage that he suffered was pretty serious, and Aaron Ingram has now overtaken him for P5 as he was in the pits. And now Dario is approaching Aaron Ingram and lapping him. Hopefully the chat is not too sad about Aaron Ingram being in P5 and lapped. Liam Penn, fastest lap of the race with the 125.7. The gap is 17 seconds to Elias Raika. Now Gerald Paul has actually rejoined the track. Excellent, love to see that. Gerald Paul continuing his race in P6. I'm gonna give it to the South African. He does not give up, and we love to see it. Good job, Jared. Meanwhile, Dario Raffaetta is having a little bit of trouble lapping Aaron Ingram, who decides to take the short way into the chicane, and race control will have to take a look at that, but then moves out of the way. A little bit of a questionable line choices by Aaron tonight, but that's what we get. And meanwhile, he's also drifting it into the gravel, and hopefully not rejoining in a bad way. Okay, he rejoined safely, that's good to know. Meanwhile, the gap between Dario Raffaetta and Gabriel Berger is 2.2 seconds, so it's still on. Last time Gabriel has gained 1 second in a lap on Dario, so with 6 laps to go, Gabriel can still get his podium position, and we'll have to see. Race control will have a little bit of work to do with all these incidents that have happened. So I think that the results will be sub judice, as they say, until confirmed by race control. But there's still a lot to be told on track, as the podium place where Dario Raffaetta sits at the moment is still a very uncomfortable place to be in, being challenged at the moment at 2 seconds by Gabriel Berger. We'll have to work a little bit on our racecraft and awareness. Aaron Ingram, meanwhile, having been overtaken by Gerald Paul as he went into the pits, and now going out again. So Gerald Paul taking P5 and better points as they were before. Meanwhile, Elias Raika cruising into the lead, a gap to Liam Penn in 17 seconds. An excellent race from the Finn, who kept it out of trouble. And this is the Raika that we like to see. Consistent, fast driver that does not crash in lap 1, but actually can challenge for victories and can challenges for podiums. Excellent show from the Finn today. Liam Penn, meanwhile, has had his fair share of bad luck tonight, but also was able to capitalize on the different situation that occurred. Is now sitting into P2. Dallara F3 was trying to stay out of trouble, and that's what has awarded him P3 at the moment. He will be challenged by Gabriel Berger currently in P4, who's had a little bit of accidents tonight, especially the lap 1 incident, turn 1 incident, where he and Jadin Ladic crashed. Tries to make a challenge for P3 on the inside, but does not work. Dallara F3 survives and defends P3. 4 laps to go now. It's really just a matter of trying to making sure that that podium place can stay in his hands. As Gabriel Berger around the outside tries to challenge but does not work. Oh, they both go into the pits. They both go into the pits. This is unbelievable. Is it a fuel issue? But the leaders are actually going forward and forward. This is going to be the 2 pit crews now. Will have to make something beautiful, and off they go again. Oh, this is amazing. They both went into the pits at the same time, and now Gerald Pohl has a chance of unlapping himself and is now in between Berger and Raffaetta. Wow. This is actually incredible. The 2 drivers lapping almost at the same time and then deciding at the same time to enter the pits, whereas the leaders have not done that. So I think it's not an issue of the fuel, as the checker flag now goes on as the 30 minutes are over and Elias Raika wins the feature race. Excellent win by the Finn, and Liam Penn goes on into second place with the fastest lap of the race for good measure. But let's go take a look at the podium place, as this is the last lap and last chance for Berger to do something about that. He's still 1 second behind, so if Raffaetta does not do anything stupid, maybe this is all he needs to do to bring home the podium. It's going to be a question of ifs and buts for Berger for this race, as he will finish in P4 and actually going off the track. An excellent podium for Dario Raffaetta. Really happy for the Italian. Good job. And a little bit of crashing between Berger and Pohl, which, you know, it's not going to have any. Okay, guys, you need to get to the checkered flag, and then you can do whatever you want. This might actually play. Okay, Berger deciding, okay, enough is enough. Let's give some more job to do to our pit crew, and crossing the finishing line into the pits. Same as Gerald Pohl, and then Ingram in P6. So this has been the race, everyone. Excellent challenge for the podium places, and in the end, who comes out on top has been Elias Raika. Let's take a look at the results, everyone. So Raika, the winner, 5 seconds gap to Liam Penn, was a little bit more, but he really was crawling at the start-finish straight to celebrate in style. So excellent win for the Finn and 25 points for him. Liam Penn in second. And Dallara F3 in third place, the car number 07 from the Versilia racing team, taking a maiden podium in Alma Corse Pre-season. Gabriel Berger in P4, Gerald Pohl P5, the two of them kind of crashing into each other just before the start-finish straight and the checkered flag. Aaron Ingram, sadly for his fans, only in P6, and Jaden Ladic, not this evening, tonight, P7, and out of the race almost as soon as it started. I hope you've enjoyed the race tonight. This has been Oulton Park circuit, the pre-season round 3 and final round with Jaden Ladic most likely taking the championship win thanks to his first 2 rounds that were perfect. Thank you, Formulari. I'm happy that you enjoyed it. Thank you to your boy Klondike for always your pleasant presence. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back with more racing soon. We haven't announced our plans yet for July and August. However, we're looking into expanding our presence also to Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione. We would love to race there as well, not only on iRacing, to give more opportunities to more people and make sure that we can be on a quest to democratize motorsport. Please join us on our mission. Leave a follower if you have enjoyed the race so that you can follow the next ones. This has been a pleasure. It's Alessio Ramito who's been broadcasting this for you. Thank you everyone. Have a good night and we'll see you next time.